All right, here we go. This is the Yeti SB130. Let's talk about it. All right, we're gonna see how the Yeti SB130 stacks up against the Ibis Ripmo, the Santa Cruz Hightower, and the Transition Sentinel. So let's jump into it just a little bit. SB130 has 130 millimeters of rear travel, 150 millimeters up front. It has a 65.5 degree head tube angle and a 76.9 degree seat tube angle. The wheelbase in extra large comes out at 1,259 millimeters with a 505 millimeter reach. That chainstay is nice and tidy at 433 millimeters. So you may be thinking, wait, the SB130 has 130 millimeters of rear travel. It's closer to the trail bikes. And you're not wrong there, but you're wrong in thinking that it is a trail bike. I think the SB130 is an all-mountain bike through and through based on how capable it is and how well it hangs with the other all-mountain bikes. It is on the more trail bike side of the all-mountain category. Yeti's enduro bike, the SB150, has 150 millimeters of rear travel, and that thing's winning EWS races with probably 10 to 20 millimeters less rear travel than all the other bikes out there. So I think that Switch Infinity suspension design is able to do more with less travel. Yeti's Switch Infinity platform is all about speed and performance. It says it right on their top tubes, race driven. That's one of Yeti's taglines, and they live by it. These bikes are fast. They are just designed for speed and efficiency. They're not always the most plush or always the most comfortable or playful bikes, but they are quick and efficient. And the Yeti SB130 is no exception.
All right, so here we are riding the SB130 as part of our all-mountain showdown. We've got the Ibis Ripmo, Transition Sentinel, Santa Cruz Hightower. This bike, I owned this bike last year. Great bike. It's a very capable all-arounder that's just really good at kind of going fast everywhere. And that suspension's all about speed. I think this bike pedals as well as the Ripmo. This bike is super efficient and it's quick uphill. When you get into bumpier, rougher climbing, it doesn't quite smooth out the trail as well as, say, the Ripmo or the Hightower. So I still think that Ripmo is going to take the cake in the climbing department, just because it'll handle that techie stuff better, give you a little more traction. You know, this is a little bit less travel than all the other bikes, so that could be part of why it pedals really, really well. It does have a little bit less travel. I'm 6'2", always riding XL, and this bike's big, especially with the 50 mil stem. You know, I'm stretched out here, about as far as I can go comfortably. All right, so geometry on this thing, climbing position's solid. It's got a steep seat tube, gets you up and over the middle of the bike. Like I said, the like effective top tube measurement, you know, from where I'm sitting to the handlebars, it's kind of long, especially with this longer stem. But my weight's not hanging off the back, which is worse for me, I think. Because then you get on anything steep, doing wheelies the whole way up it, can't keep that front end under control. This thing gives the Ripmo a run for its money, for sure. It's kind of splitting hairs between them, I think. I think the biggest difference is going to be that Ripmo smooths out the trail just a little bit better. I think it's really close, though. Oh, turn this corner and you got that to go up. This trail is rough. This bike feels the most like a trail bike out of the entire group, and that would make sense. It has the least amount of travel. Some people would probably argue that it is a trail bike and not an all-mountain bike. I rode one for a year. I feel like it fits with the all-mountain bikes more than it fits with the trail bikes. I think it's in the same capability category as the rest of the bikes in our test. You know, fight me if you want. I'm calling it an all-mountain bike, but it does have kind of that shorter travel, more firm feel on the climbs like a trail bike does. Sorry you have to listen to this. This is hard. Whew. Well, that feels good when you stand up and pedal. There's a pretty good response from the bike. You start moving forward really quick. I think this bike rewards an energetic climber, someone who's got the legs and the motivation to push it on the climbs. Like I said earlier, this bike is just fast everywhere. Uphill, downhill, flat ground. It's a fast bike and it's not messing around. Climbing grade on this bike is good. Almost as good as that Ripmo. I think it's every bit as efficient, not quite as controlled and calm in the techie stuff. I think it's pretty close to top of the class. All right, hitting downhill now on the SB130. Oh, that sounds nice. Hopefully I don't have to touch my brakes much this whole ride. I think this bike is one of our newest demos. I don't think those brakes are quite in yet. Woo! So, very first thoughts on this is it's fast, precise, not like gooey, mushy, ultra forgiving, but it is quick, very quick, and it feels very sharp. Handling's quick, sharp, suspension feels very supportive. Doesn't feel like you're squishing up and down and just wasting all your forward momentum. All right, so suspension on this bike, like I said, feels firm, fast. It feels pretty poppy because of that. Bike jumps pretty well. It's not like ultra planted and that kind of rougher stuff right there. All right, so the suspension feels pretty peppy and lively, like pumping through corners, pumping through little rollers, off of little lips. It's very peppy and lively. Kind of like that Ripmo that's pretty fun and playful. This isn't as playful feeling. It's lively and fast feeling. Feels pretty supportive throughout the whole stroke. Off the top, through the middle. Whole stroke just feels pretty supported. Not the most plush feeling bike though. You can get after it on this bike. You know, I owned one for a whole year. There's really nothing I wouldn't ride on it. When this came out, the geometry was kind of radical, you know, it was about as long as you were gonna find. Now other bikes are kind of catching up, so this isn't ultra long. You know, it's still plenty slack and long to do all mountain duty, but it doesn't feel quite as big as like the Sentinel, you know, because that bike is fairly big. I like how lively this feels. I've said it a bunch, but it just feels fast. And I think that comes down to the suspension design. It's not made for going slow, putzing around too much. You know, that's kind of Yeti's heritage though. I think it says it on all their bikes. Oh, I almost hit that tree. Jeez. I think it says it on all their bikes, you know, race driven. So this bike kind of lives and breathes that motto. One cool thing I like is in the 130, Yeti makes a lunch ride edition. So a little bit longer rear travel, bumped up to a 160 mil fork, gets a little bit burlier build. So the regular 130, kind of on the maybe a little bit more trail side of the all mountain. And then the lunch ride is more on the all mountain side of all mountain, if that makes any sense. So you can kind of have this versatile setup. Whew, this is fast. I'm having a hard time talking. Yeah, I can't talk right now. Please hold. Woo! All right, we are back to your regularly scheduled programming. where I can talk. So pretty versatile setup with being able to get this, the standard edition or the lunch ride edition. And they're really not too different. You know, it's pretty subtle between them, but it is a nice option. One thing I'm just really impressed by on this ride is the handling, just how quick it feels. It's very responsive, very sharp, very precise. Those are kind of the words coming to mind. Oh, big old moose up there. Where is that moose? Oh boy, hello. Okay, so we have been rerouted by an angry mama moose and her calf. Gonna find a different way down. So who is this bike for? I think this is probably for the person coming off an XC bike, person who generally likes trail bikes, maybe wants a little more travel, a little more capability. I think this bike is for them. I think it's also just another great, well-rounded, all-mountain bike. If you like going fast, this bike's gonna be for you, especially if you like going fast without stopping, like up, down, you just like doing big, fast loops. I'd say this bike's a great option.
All right, so just to wrap this up really quickly, I think that Yeti SB130 is almost as good as the Ibis Ripmo on the climbs. It's every bit as efficient, if not more. It just doesn't smooth out the trail quite like that Ripmo to take that top tier in the climbing department. On the downhill, it's probably the most responsive, quick, precise feeling bike. It's not the most capable, but if you want to be just fast everywhere and you want just that quick handling and that zippy feel, I don't think you can beat it. So who is it for? I think cross-country riders and shorter travel trail bike riders are really going to like the SB130 if they're looking for a bike with a little bit more capability. It still has that kind of quick, lively handling that you're going to be used to from those shorter travel bikes, but it's going to be in a more capable package so you can get away with riding a wider variety of terrain or tougher trails. I also think the 130 is for that tried and true all-mountain rider or enduro rider who realizes maybe they're not riding enduro style terrain all day long and they can get away with a little bit less bike, and this offers just the quickest, most precise handling you can find in any of these bikes. If you're interested in riding any of these bikes, we've got them all in our demo fleet. Come on in, check one out, and give it a spin. See for yourself how it feels. If you want to buy any of these bikes, no matter where you live, reach out. We'd be happy to help you find one. We know inventory is crazy right now, and we're just trying to help folks find the right bike for them. All right, we still have 2 more videos. We've got the last bike coming up and the roundtable conclusion video where we're just going to tie up all the loose ends here. So make sure you stick around so you don't miss those. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time.